Hi! How much fun can you have with the delay effect? Quite fun, I would say, if you add some creativity. I love messing around with audio effects and other devices, try to figure out new weird ways to use them. And I encourage you all to do that, because it's a great way to really learn a device. And today I thought I'd show you 3 quite unorthodox ways to use a delay effect. Follow me if you want to. So right now I just have a single track with the snare drum playing quarter notes. And that's not very amusing. So let's get that simple delay effect in there. And before we start doing something stupid with this, let's just, for those who might need it, go through what everything does here. Well, we have a delay effect, which essentially takes the audio signal and delays it a certain amount of time, and then plays it back again. We got 2 delay lines, or 2 channels, so to speak. One for the left channel and one for the right channel. And these numbers sets how many 16th notes it will delay the signal before it plays it back again. Then you can press this little button and change it into time instead, so you can set in milliseconds how long it will delay the signal. And you can also link the 2, the left and right, so you get a mono delay. And the 2 knobs at the bottom sets how much of the delay will be fed back, so it will be, well, played back once again after the same delay time. And the dry wet knob, how much clean signal and how much of our delay signal. And what I want to do now is to use the delay effect to do rhythm, to make a more amusing rhythm for this snare drum. So I will press the link button, so we will get a mono delay. It will be just 1 delay line, and I will set it to 2/16, that's 1/8. Now if I press play, we get the same thing as before, but if I turn the dry wet knob up, I get 8 notes. And what happens if I turn it to 100%? Well, I get just the 8th note in between the quarter notes. So if we put the metronome on, we can hear on the quarter notes and on the offbeat. That's nice. So now I can just map a little knob here on my controller to this and play around with it. Let's do another one. If we duplicate this and then set the delay time to just 1/16, and while we're at it, get another knob for the second dry wet. Now, what happens when I turn this one? Yeah, I get the 16th note right after the quarter note. And now we can play around. Like so. But I won't be sitting here turning knobs, so instead I will go to my Max for Live library and I will get the LFO from here. There we have him, and we map our LFO to the dry wet knob on the first effect. Now it just sweeps from 0 to 100%. So let's change this to random instead. And we get some random rhythms. And how often do we want them to change? Well, now it's set to change once every second, but I can change it to a note value instead. So let's say at every half note, it will change the value on this knob. Now in this new Max for Live LFO device in Ableton Live 10 and Max for Live 8, we can actually send this value to several parameters. So I can map this also to this one. And the drawback of this right now is that we get the exact same value on the both of these. So I won't do that. Instead I want to duplicate the LFO and map the second one to this. Now, if we press play now, we get some random rhythms. Like so. Well, that's the first thing. Second one, I want to use the delay effect to do some stereo widening. A classic trick to do a mono signal stereo is to duplicate the track and then delay it a short amount of time. Let's say somewhere from 10 to 20 milliseconds. Like if you recorded your metal electric guitar riff, you duplicate that guitar to a second track, you delay it a certain amount of milliseconds, and then you pan the two tracks left and right. So you get a stereo image, stereo sound. Just because the left and right channel won't play the exact same sound. And we can do this with the simple delay. So let's get another one. Like so. Now I don't want the delay time to be set in note values. I want to have time instead. And I will pull it down. Let's pull both of them down to 1 millisecond. Now the dry wet knob to 100%. So instead of the mono signal coming in, we will listening to this signal and that signal. And at the moment it will sound the same. But what if I turn one of them a little bit up? Then we get a stereo. It's stereo. You could also delay both of them a little bit. Let's say something like so, I don't know. Now if I turn my dry wet knob to 0, we get mono. And then we can use this knob to set how wide a stereo image we want. The drawback on a drum sound is that we get sort of, we will hear two strokes if they're too far apart, like the one not delayed at all and the one at 15 milliseconds. So right now I want to do this. I want to do 1 and 8, like so. Stereo. Third thing, I want to make notes. Notes, you say? Yes, I want to use the delay effect to make the snare drum play notes. So let's get a new one. There we have him. This time I want to link the two delay lines, and I will set it to time, and I will pull it down. Let's say I have this at 10 milliseconds. What will happen now when I turn the feedback up? Well, if we delay something 10 milliseconds, we get 100 repetitions every second. And that's 100 hertz. Let's listen. Like so. If we delay it just 1 millisecond, we'll get 1000 hertz. Isn't that sweet? I think I will turn the dry wet knob up now. Now we can play around with this. Why don't map a knob to that as well? It's kind of fun. Let's get ourselves Max for Live LFO one more time. Now map this to the time, and we just want him to go to like, I don't know, 30-40 milliseconds something. So let's turn the maximum down, I don't know, somewhere around here. Set it to random once again. Set this to note value instead, and tell him that every quarter note maybe I want him to change note. Cool. One more thing I would like to show you, those of you who don't know it. You can right click a delay, and at the bottom you can change the behavior of delay, how it will behave when you change the delay time. And if I set it to repitch instead, it will behave a little bit more like a old-fashioned analog tape echo machine. So it will speed up and slow down the signal. So let's listen to that. Cool. Now, there's 3 unorthodox uses for a simple delay. Now in Ableton Live 10, we got a new effect called Echo, which actually simulates an old-fashioned tape echo machine. So why don't we do the exact same thing with Echo and see what the difference will be. So I will select all of these and group them so that I can deactivate them all with just one click and fold them together. Now, audio effects and Echo. Start off by making some rhythms. And to do that, we will set the feedback to 0. And these are linked, so, well. And it's a little bit different now. And that's because these are set to dotted notes. Let's say set them to straight notes instead. Like so. And those of you with sharp ears can hear that there's something with the delay signal. It doesn't sound exactly the same. And that's because there's some filtering going on down here. We got a high pass filter and a low pass filter. And of course we can pull the low pass filter up so it will let everything through, but we can also just turn it off by pressing this little button. Like so. Beautiful. Let's duplicate this and set the second one to 16ths. And then now let's get our LFOs. One there. Half notes exactly like the first time. Map it to this dry wet and set it to random. Duplicate and map the second one to this dry wet knob. Let's listen. So sweet. And now for the stereo widening, a new echo effect. Okay, we won't be having any feedback, and then we will not have these in sync mode, we will have them in time mode, and we will not have them linked to each other. Oops, and then this jumps to sync again. Let's put it into time mode and pull them down, like so. And then pull one of them up just a little bit. There. And turn the filter off. And you can see in the beautiful visualization in the middle, you can see how much it's delayed. I don't know. Something like this. And just the wet signal on this one. So, and now for the notes. So let's get ourselves a new echo effect, and we will set it to time mode and pull the delay time down. And for this we want feedback. An interesting thing and fun thing with the echo effect is that you can have feedback above 100%. But I shall warn you, this can be dangerous, but it can also be really fun. But right now I really don't want it to go above 100%, but I will have it high, so, and the dry wet to 100. And let's see what we got now. Well, let's turn the filter off. Oh, so beautiful. Now, let's randomize this. And this time we don't need another Max for Live LFO, because the echo effect has its own LFOs. We got one for the left and one for the right channel. And so if we set this to random and we pull our modulation amount up, let's see what we got. Interesting. We got different notes in the left and the right channel. So Maybe you want that, but I don't want that right now, so I don't want the LFOs to send two different values. And to get rid of this, I will turn the phase amount down to 0. So that way the two LFOs will sync to each other and you get one note. Ah, beautiful. And we can do other fun things. We can get some nice reverb on this. And we can go into the character maybe and set a gate, so only the notes that are have the notes that are loud enough will get passed through, like so. Cool. Now let's just compare what we got with the echo effect and the simple delay. So I'll just group all of these devices like so, and let's listen. Here's our echo effect. Nice. And here is the simple delay version. I hope this was inspiring, and I hope you watch my other videos. Bye for now.